Okay, thank you for following me again on my lovely tirades on this channel. But it is November 17th, Tuesday. Anyway, so on the front of homeschooling in Ohio, I've been homeschooling for 5 years, so my children are in sixth and fourth grade. But I just realized, well, I didn't realize, I just read in a Facebook group that there are several families going through some BS because they didn't know the age of compulsion. What's the age of compulsion? The age of compulsion is the age at which you send your child to the public school. They want your child to go to public school when they turn 5. But by law, they technically don't have to go to school or even be notified that they're of age to attend school until they're 6. So these people have been enrolling their children in kindergartens, and then they've decided, oh, we want to pull them out because COVID is going through the school and we don't want to have our children go through that, which is totally understandable, but they're being threatened with truancy and all kinds of other things. And the reality of the matter is they didn't even have to enroll them in the first place. But because everything has been so pushed and forced, people are confusing online distance learning with traditional home education. I got caught up in this because I was just thinking, oh, well, 5 is when everybody has to go to school. I thought it was the compulsory age for every state. Comes to turn out, there are states where the compulsory age where you have to go to school is 8. So for me to find out that in Ohio the age was 6, I was like, well, dang, why did I submit my child to going through online tests and all this stuff at the age of 5 when I didn't even have to? I could have spent that year trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do and how I was going to educate them at home in actual preparation for the first grade. If I would have known that, then that would have made a big difference in my rushed, honestly, decision to enroll my child in Odella. Although, by enrolling my child in Odella after the school I enrolled him in closed 2 weeks before school started, that showed me the true difference between distance learning and online public school with real traditional home education. I'm going to put hashtag homeschool in here because, quite frankly, I still want to communicate that with everybody, but I think we need to change that to home education. Schooling is a school of fish. I don't have a school of fish. And even if you have a large family where one homeschooler that I follow has like 11 children, that's still not the same as the hundreds of fish that could be found in a school in the ocean. And quite frankly, I think it's kind of an insult to think that human children should be in schools. Although the Greek understanding, or the Greek root, that's the word I'm looking for. The Greek root of the word school is skole, which means relax, and I follow that quite a bit, which is why I like classical academic pressure. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent here because, quite frankly, home education is very important to me because I want my children to be educated. I don't care if they don't become multimillionaires. That would be nice, and I hope that my savings and investments produce that for them. But even if I set them up with $100,000 or more by the time they leave my house, that doesn't mean that they're going to make the best decisions. So I'm trying to teach them to make better decisions. I'm trying to encourage them to make the best decisions, but that doesn't mean that that's going to happen. They could get influenced by other people who are just as ignorant and backwards as all the people nowadays. But that's not the point. My point is simple. Look into your laws before you enroll your children into public school. Look into your laws for your home state before you enroll your children into kindergarten. You might find out that your child doesn't have to be enrolled in anything until the age of 8. Go to the HSLD website, hslda.org. I'll link it below, and find the rules for the state that you're in. I'm targeting Ohio school people right home. I'm targeting Ohio state homeschoolers right now because I keep seeing these posts in my Facebook groups who are transitioning to homeschooling, and they're realizing that distance education and home education are not the same thing. I can pick the books that I choose to teach my children. I don't have to get the public school books and bring them into my house. I don't even have to have desks and lockers and all this other stuff. I mean, you don't need to bring school home. And I think a lot of people are just now starting to realize it, those who aren't under a lot of stress. And I really, really want to help them the best of my ability, considering that I'm severely at a loss of income. I'm like, I live in public housing. So, but as you can see, I'm not stupid. I just made some crappy financial decisions. But I mean, it wasn't just that either. I also had a divorce. So, I mean, you can make mistakes and then end up in public housing. It doesn't automatically mean that everybody's raised in public housing and grew up there and everybody's a generational public housing dweller. That's not how that goes. That is less than 2% of the population, in all honesty, like for real. So, I think that knowing your state laws is very important. And which is why my channel talks about politics as well as home education. Because if you don't know the laws and the policies that are governing over you, then how in the world can you possibly make the best decisions for yourself? Or how could you possibly elect people that have your best interest in heart? What exactly are you voting for if you don't know what it is that you're trying to protect? If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And if you don't know the laws, then what are you voting for if change is needed when you don't even know what there is in place already? Think about that. I'll link some stuff below.